The man who called himself Adrian Kline texted my mother a photo of himself and asked for a $75,000 loan in Bitcoin, promising a slice of his investment in a secret stock portfolio. I didn't know what to do at first. The message was the first time I'd ever seen my mom, a woman who'd never dated in 2 decades, look so giddy. She'd always dreamed of a fairy tale romance, but this time it felt like a live-action version of one of those online love stories that pop up on social media. Who is he? I asked, scrolling through the chat. He's verified on LinkedIn, has 1,000 followers on Instagram, and even sent me a video of him in a penthouse. My mother laughed. You know, I've heard about scammers, but he's a verified account. No way this is a con. She even showed me a screenshot of the will he'd supposedly added her to, the one that would make her wealthy. I could see the excitement in her eyes, the way she described a future of luxury that had nothing to do with the modest life we'd built. When I pressed, she admitted that the man had asked for a small loan of $75,000, that her money would be tied up in stocks, and that he'd pay her back with interest in a few weeks. And we're going to meet in person soon, she added, her voice trembling with anticipation. My first instinct was to stop her, but I didn't know how. She had always been careful with her finances. I could see the fear in her eyes when I told her I had a few concerns. I suggested we check his profile, but she was adamant that he was real. I've done my research, she said. I even saw his name on a Forbes list. I did my research and it was a different story. The account was a shell. The verified status was a fake. The posts were old, and the supposed stock investments were actually a series of cryptocurrency exchanges with no real assets. I pulled up the Bitcoin wallet address, and it led to a known fraud ring that had scammed thousands of people over the past year. My mother had already wired $13,000 in Bitcoin. She was about to send the rest this Sunday. I called my mother on the same night, and my voice sounded more urgent than it had in years. I told her everything, the red flags, the evidence. She stared at her phone, her face turning pale. I can't believe this, she whispered. I just thought. She stopped. I thought I was saving my life. The next morning, I pulled my mother into the living room, and we sat with a stack of screenshots and a laptop. I showed her the timeline, the fake will documents, and the scammer's real identity. I asked her to stop the transaction before the final payment. She was angry, hurt, and overwhelmed. I reminded her that I loved her and that I had done this to protect her. I called the bank and we filed a fraud alert on her account. The bank's fraud department was quick, but the Bitcoin transaction was already a few steps away from being irreversible. We turned to a cryptocurrency recovery service that specialized in tracing Bitcoin flows. They pulled a trail of the wallet, showing that it had been used to funnel money to a shell company in Panama. The service was expensive, but I paid it because I couldn't bear the thought of my mother losing all the savings she'd worked hard for. In the end, the service recovered about 40% of the money we'd sent. It wasn't the full amount, but it was a start. I also sat down with my mother and we drafted a simple no more policy. If anyone ever asks for a large sum, we'll do a 30-day research period before any payment. I also set up a secure account for her savings and made sure she was aware of how to spot a scam. The resolution wasn't just about the money, it was about rebuilding trust. My mother had always been careful, but the allure of a fairy tale romance had clouded her judgment. She had to learn that love doesn't come with a price tag or a digital signature. And the lesson? In a world where verified can be a lie and wealth can be a mirage, we must guard our hearts and our wallets with equal vigilance. A good story ends when we turn a warning into wisdom, and I'm proud that my mother and I walked out of that situation stronger, knowing that a little doubt can be the best protection against a dream that turns into a nightmare.